CNN's Kristie Lu Stout live in Hong Kong for us. So, Kristie, last week, harsh words for the United States. This week, Beijing is telling London to mind its own business or else.
Absolutely. We heard immediately from China's embassy in London criticizing the British government over its actions, calling it gross interference over China's internal affairs. On Monday, the British government announced that it would end an extradition treaty with Hong Kong over fears that anyone extradited from the UK to Hong Kong could be easily handed over to mainland China under the new national security law. Also on Monday, we learned that the British government plans to extend an arms embargo that's been in place since 1989 with China. They plan to extend it to Hong Kong, which would stop the export of items including smoke grenades and firearms. We heard that criticism from the Chinese embassy in London, additional criticism from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Beijing. Listen to what its spokesperson said on Monday.
We urge the UK not to make further steps down the wrong path in order to avoid further damage to the bilateral relations. I would also like to add that China will make resolute reaction to actions that interfere in China's internal affairs.
As tension rises, we know that the U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is in London for a two-day meeting. He plans to meet with his British counterpart, Dominic Raab, as well as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. A number of items on the agenda, including coronavirus, trade, but China is definitely at the top. Secretary Pompeo is expected to congratulate the UK for its recent ban on Huawei 5G products, as well as to discuss the controversial national security law. In fact, Secretary Pompeo plans to meet with Chris Patten. That meeting to take place later today. He is, of course, the last colonial governor of Hong Kong, who has been very vocal about the perceived erosion of autonomy here in Hong Kong. He's also called Chinese President Xi Jinping a dictator. Secretary Pompeo also expected to meet with Nathan Law. He is the student activist, the former lawmaker, as well as the pro-democracy activist who fled Hong Kong to go to the UK, effectively living there in exile on the back of that new national security law. John.
Kristie, thank you. It should be an interesting meeting for Mike Pompeo and Boris Johnson and everybody else. We'll see what happens. Kristie Lu Stout there live for us in Hong Kong.